Is Congressman Maxwell Frost more interested in playing politics than addressing pressing issues like poverty in Orlando? Welcome to another episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up. Your host, David Washington. I'm Joel Hawksley. In Orlando, Issa White, a dedicated community leader, has stepped into the political arena, challenging incumbent Congressman Maxwell Frost. White, an advocate for the marginalized, criticized Frost for prioritizing entertainment over substantive change and expressed dissatisfaction with the Democratic leadership, including President Joe Biden. White highlighted Congressman Maxwell Frost's missing advocacy for student protests and the urgent need for leadership that addresses domestic poverty and rising living costs while questioning U.S. foreign policy and immigration. What do you say, David?
Well, first things first, Dr. V, as V. Issa White is known, is running for Congressional District 10 here in Florida. And Dr. V has been very consistent in his messaging to those residents of CD10, which is a very eclectic group of voters, demographics, a group of voters that vary from literally one end of the county to the other, taking in areas like Pine Hills, downtown Orlando, Baldwin Park, Maitland, Winter Park, Azalea Park, Union Park, Avalon Park, University of Central Florida, a very diversified population. So in Dr. White's campaign, he's been talking about a lot of things that are the perception are ignored by Congressman Frost's office, particularly the plight of those disadvantaged, those lower income, and those traditionally non-voting populations in the district. Also, he's looking more at the Black and Brown community that has been underserved in this district for some time, prior to redistricting by represented by former Representative Demings. I can't believe I Val Demings. Thank you. And so what Dr. White is doing is like, hey, you see these kids out here, these college students protesting on their campuses. Governor DeSantis and the college university campus system, college system have told students, hey, if you're going to do this, like in New College, you're going to suffer some consequences. And it's kind of surprising, being the Generation Z candidate congressman that Congressman Frost leans on incredibly, he has been absent. He has been absent on the national stage. I mean, I would think that he would want to be on the national stage ever since, it being announced that he helped create this office for gun control advocacy in the White House. Big deal. But he's been largely absent on the national and local stage to support his Gen Z comrades in their protests in regards to the Israeli-Hamas war.
Well, David, that's a very interesting analysis. And do you think that this is simply Frost trying to stay above the fray, or do you think this is just he doesn't understand the actual Gen Z life because he's only ever experienced he's one advocate. You know, he only advocates for one issue, and that's guns. Like, do you think he's just got blinders to the actual college student? Has he even gone to college? I mean, Uber driver to Congress. Where is his expectation? What are his his motivations? I mean, we know it's gun control, and gun control is not something you can take care of in Congress. You got an office opened in the federal government in the White House that has no teeth. I mean, that sounds good, but it has no teeth. So what are we gonna, what is the frost? Is it frostbite, like you say? Is it frostbite that this, Democrat is bringing to Orlando? Or are we going to warm up and be the Central Florida leader that he needs to become?
That's a lot to unpack there. I mean, he had a big misstep when the altercations in Israel started after October 7th, when when Hamas brutally attacked Israel. He wasn't too sure where he stood. He made some statements. There was a ton of pushback from the public, from his supporters, from his donors on the stance that he took. And ever since that particular misstep by him and his administration, he's had some public appearances with like Mayor, Jerry Demings, to talk about, the millions of dollars he's brought back to the district. However, for the most part, he has gone incredibly silent in regards to his Gen Z comrades protesting. And I think someone has pulled him aside and said, hey, you know something? This is not for you a particular issue that you can win on. You made your stance, you fumbled that particular opportunity, but you made your stance now. You're siding with Israel, and that's that. And no one's going to hold Frost accountable in the Democratic Party because they like the novelty and the vanity of a Gen Z congressman and a Gen Z congressman who could sit in that particular office for the next 50 years, maybe. We've asked him to be on the show a number of times. It's gone silent. We always talk about holding our elected officials accountable. We would love to sit with him and get his point of view on this particular issue. It's disappointing. I remember my days of protesting, and I wouldn't be as critical as I am now if I haven't done it myself. And very few of these idiots out here have done the protesting that I've done in the past, whether it's local or national. And so I get it. And if I didn't have that experience, I shouldn't be able to comment on it with the authority that I have. And I've seen it from both sides, from the side of, being the activist to the side of being a part of a political office. In regards to the protests and everything, it's graduation now. School is let out. Kids are going to go back to, home or go on vacation, go to the beach or whatever. Instead of, I don't know, when we did it, when we protested the Iraqi war in D.C., we went to where the decision making was made. We went to D.C. The problem I had with the protesters is that they just stayed on campus and pitched their tents and protested. And some of them are now facing sanctions or restrictions to graduation or whatever. The prospect of losing opportunities for employment after this, I kind of scratch my head and say, I like to look at the long game. And I just didn't see a long game in this. And it's just bad optics for the Gen Z protesters. I get they feel strong about their position, but instead of tearing up your campuses, take the issue to DC. Get in your cars, get on the bus, get on the plane, and do it the old-fashioned way. You know, be a part of 100, 200, 500, 1 million person, protest. But we'll never see that here in America. Maybe over there in London, England, or Paris, France. But Americans just don't have the stomach for those type of protests anymore.
Yeah, well, so let's talk about Frost and the and the bills that he's kind of attached to. HR 8554 in the 118th Congress was to eliminate certain subsidies for fossil fuel production. This would be Omar Ilhan's bill. He's one of 27 co-sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a he's let's see, he's the sponsor of HR 8533 to require the administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration shall update the regulations to issue regulations to phase out the use of bleed air systems in certain aircraft and for other purposes. So he's environmental. He has
Is that the
he's on a bill.
chemtrails?
What's that?
Is that about chemtrails coming out of planes or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind.
Phase out the use of bleed air systems. So yeah, the yeah, and then well, you can't resist a little activism from our man Frost. HR 8525 is a Jackson Lee bill, Sheila Jackson Lee bill, with 150 co-sponsors. George Floyd Justice in Policing Act of 2024. There you go. Oh, let's see. He's on HR 8485. Let's see. To amend Title V, United States Code to prohibit the president, vice president, members of Congress, and other senior executive branch personnel from accepting any foreign emoluments and for other purposes. Okay. There you go. Now, he's on a bill to prohibit the importation, sale, manufacture, and transfer or possession of 50 caliber rifles and for other purposes. Yeah, I don't see anything on here. If you run through his list of bills that has anything that outside of the environment. Oh, he's got the High School Voter Empowerment Act. He wants
Now we're talking. Let's hear
yeah.
that.
Let's see. He wants it's not even his bill. He's only one of
No.
17. He's only one of 17 co-sponsors. This is Frederica Wilson's bill. She's
Here in Florida.
yeah, she's Democrat, Florida, 24. Let's see. This one would refer to the committee of the House Administration. Yeah, it would determine speaker. Yeah, it's a non-bill bill, It's High School Voter Empowerment Act. You got to go educate students in high school about registering to vote. Wow. You need a law for that? Oh, the Crown Act of 2024.
Okay, women's hair.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Everybody out there get mad at him because he's a co-sponsor of a bill that Michael Waltz introduced. The Jackie
Yes.
Robinson Commemorative Site Act. I guess it's because it's Jackie Robinson that he got on that one because
Maybe that'll help get that, Black History Museum in St. Augustine.
well, it's for natural resources. So
Oh, okay.
and it's for an area where Jackie Robinson actually tried to play, tried to play baseball and had to actually not be able to be in Sanford at the time. Oh, I didn't say that out loud, did I? Sorry, guys. This is a Child Care Access Act, not his bill. Oh, here's a bill, the Art Act. Yep, he pushed forward a bill called HR 7918. It's called the Create Art Act. Yep, he wants education and the workforce to push art.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's not helping in any of the stuff. Well, we got the Prevent Illegal Gun Resale Act, which is his,
Okay.
co-sponsored
There we go.
only co-sponsored by 3 people. It's dead on arrival. Let's see, that's not his. That's not. I mean, he's co-sponsored a bunch of stuff, but nothing. Oh, my favorite one, Destroy Zombie Gun Act. There you go. He's got 29 sponsors on 29 co-sponsors on that one. Guns, guns, guns. Yeah. Oh, Identify Gun Stores Act. Guns, guns, guns. Environment, guns. David, I don't know. I think that Dr. V has a good. I mean, I know I've wasted a lot of time for you guys that don't know
Hmm.
where to find this, but this is Congress, Congress.gov. You look up the member, you'll find out what the members sponsor. What bills he's actually sponsored, which ones he's co-sponsored, um, and you can see he's been very active in
Hmm.
co-sponsoring in the 118th Congress. Frost is attached to. Let's see. I'm going to give you an exact number. 444. He's attached himself to 444 actual bills.
And
Um,
it's unfortunate. This has been the least productive Congress, if not ever, but in years. And that's too bad. This would have been a great opportunity for some, really breakthrough legislation sponsored by Representative Frost. Move away from this, what do you call it, vanity of being the Gen Z congressman, and now start, you know, talking about being one of the better congressmen, setting the legacy.
but let's talk to people in Central Florida and what this does. He's placed himself on 444 bills, right? He's sponsored bills that have got no traction. Look at Demings. Look at Stephanie Murphy. Even Soto. When you look at their records, they were never attached to this many bills.
Hmm.
They attached themselves to bills that they knew were going to get some footing or they were going to get some momentum, maybe 25 to 50. This is 118th Congress, one session, and he's on 444 bills, mostly just co-sponsoring to be a pretty face on these bills because
Hmm.
he's on bills that only have 3 to 4 people that co-sponsored it. If there's only 3 or 4 people co-sponsoring a bill, it's probably not something that's going to be effective for the American people.
Right. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Um, I don't know. When I talk to people, old black women, about their support for Congressman Frost, one of the first things they say, they're so impressed with the way he talks. And I'm like, ugh, cringe moment. Okay, all right, all right. And he is a freshman congressman, sure. And there's so much a freshman congressman could do. Mostly their job is to make phone calls and, for fundraising, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just see this as an opportunity for him to kind of get uncomfortable out of his own skin and be willing to take on larger challenges and offer solutions, especially from a point of view that people may not anticipate from a young congressman, a young person in general. Um, he hasn't lived. That, I mean, even in his short, existence on this earth, his experience base and knowledge base is very limited. Um, and maybe, because I am much older and understand that there's so much at stake for America in the coming years, and I just don't see a sense of urgency from um, Congressman Frost, and particularly the type of legislation that he's attached to or that has sponsored himself.
He sponsored 13 bills total.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's introduced 13 bills, and that's exactly where they're at. Introduction. The one bill that he has the most co-sponsors on is HR 1699, which is the Office of Gun Violence Prevention Act of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It had 94 co-sponsors. Uh, you go to all the action, and it goes introduction, referred to the House Committee on Judiciary. Yeah. Nope. Nothing became law. Let me see. I mean, he's got it, but it didn't become law. He had to get the president to, he had to
Right.
have the president do
Yeah, they have more of
an
a
ex-
photo op. It was a save by the president and the vice president. Again, we talked about that particular office that was created, and it's redundant. We could get the same information probably in a more timely fashion from the CCCP, and it's online. It's available online. Too many blue ribbon committees, too many special offices and studies. We know what the issue is with gun violence, and establishing another bureaucracy is not the answer. You know.
well, here's one that's interesting. He has the Fixing Gaps in Hurricane Preparedness Act. He got one co-sponsor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
And
DeSantis. I think DeSantis does a good job. He if
and
we're
and,
if
and
we're
guess
gonna
what? And guess who it was?
who's that?
It was Daniel Webster that actually co-sponsored it with
There
him,
you go.
and
There you go.
it's got no teeth. It was the last time it had anything looked at
At
was in
least for
October.
Florida, they do a good job. My heart goes out to Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, Houston, Texas, all the way over there. Not too excited, but the center has done a good job with hurricane preparedness. Uh, Florida will be tested if, as predicted, there is a very active hurricane season
Mhm.
that affects Florida. We'll see just how effective DeSantis and his administration are. But
The problem
I'm
with
looking
this bill, the problem with this
forward.
bill is the problem with this bill is it doesn't say
Yeah,
what the gaps doesn't it doesn't explain what the gaps needing to be fixed in the hurricane preparedness are.
right.
It didn't give any, is it extra funding someplace? Is it, you know, in the relief session? It doesn't, it was very ill prepared. He has a Defense Spending Oversight Act of 2024 that that I do believe was co-sponsored by Corey Mills, um,
Hmm.
which again, it's not got any teeth, but it's Defense Spending Oversight Act of 2024, which, hey, we do need to have a little bit more oversight in the way they spend money. He has the Votes Act. Again, it's voting, it's guns, David. It's nothing to do. It is nothing to do with what we need here in Orange County. I see a really big gap in
Hmm.
what he's providing. And I'm sorry. I mean, I want to be uh, uh I want to be warm on Frost. I don't, you know,
Hmm.
I don't want him to. He's like he's like defrosting the refrigerator. I mean, he's not
Right.
accomplishing anything.
I guess and we're jaded because we're politicals and we see this stuff. We know how things operate, and I just see a missed opportunity being in politics for 35 years, and knowing that there are so many important um, kitchen table issues that are not being addressed, and I just see so many opportunities of whether it's the Democrats or Republicans or the non-party affiliates, or everyone get together and actually coming to a consensus and resolving these issues. Eh,
Yeah,
that's
David.
that's
I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna call Frost's office, right? Since he won't be on our show, but I'm gonna call Frost's office, and
Mhm,
I'm gonna talk to his staff, and I'm gonna say, you know, if he wants to pass a law, there's one simple law that he can
mhm,
pass that every single one of our representatives has passed in their first term.
mhm.
Name a flippin' post office, damn it. Just name a flippin' post office. It's a law you can pass. I guarantee you, you can pass it. You have 13 bills all introduced and not a single one has moved forward. And you have gotten 3 of them that have Republican co-sponsors, which is really something that you should be proud of getting, but
Yeah,
you haven't taken those anywhere. They have not gone anywhere.
yeah.
So for Corey Mills to get on your bill because it looks good, but you not to take the action to get it pushed forward.
Yeah, I just want these our representatives to start talking about and doing things for our kitchen table issues, and it's not pandering to the typical demographics that they lean into for votes. Branch out, be creative, be bold with your ideas, and we don't have that anymore. We have very little of that, and enough of the culture wars. I think short-minded people are stuck in that mentality that it's about uh, them versus us. We gotta move on from that.
It,
And
it, and if you're a supporter of Frost because we're missing something, please let us know. We're not trying to just. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the congressman at all. I'm just trying to point out that you're in a unique position. Um, what we should probably do, and I haven't done it yet, is we should probably see what he has accomplished in his fundraising and who he's been, where his travel itinerary has gone. Has he gone to, has he gone to these different places to help fundraise for other people because he's a Gen Zer? Is that what he's being utilized for? Where's his money, coming from? And
I
that's
wouldn't waste our time.
just
I mean,
saying.
really.
I mean, he's got to be accomplishing something. He must be just a really good fundraiser because he's not
Oh
doing anything.
yeah,
He's not
that's
doing
how he
anything.
got. That's how he got into office.
So, so David, I say if we had to put this one on, Orlando has had some of the hottest days, but they have the coldest congressman. Thank you very much. Please like, please share, please get involved. The Informer's out. If you haven't subscribed for it, you need to do it now. You need to find out what's going on in your community. And we have some really excellent interviews coming up. We have sat with commissioners and we have sat with legislators, and we will be having uh, federal level guests very soon. We kind of hesitated on that because we're trying to teach you how to vote the bottom of the ballot up.
Yep.
Uh, and a special announcement: Castleberry has one election coming up August 20th, and in that election, there are 3 candidates for seat 4. I am actually one of them, so I will be making my official announcement in June. I hope that you'll be able to come out if you guys are interested, and just whether you support me or not, just come on out. Let's do the announcement and let's get this thing done.
Okay.
let's see if we can help the city of Castleberry have advance. So thank you,
Well,
David.
thank you, Joel. We just don't talk the talk. We actually walk the walk. Joel is a candidate. So stay tuned, everyone.